All right, this is the video that everyone's been asking for and the video that I've been putting off because I don't feel like I am someone who should cover this topic. I have a lot of plants, but I don't actually know that much about them. But everybody seems to think I do, so everybody asks for a plant tour. Which tour I can do. I will give you a tour. I will show you how I care for them. But I want to clarify from the get-go that I actually really don't know anything. I don't even know what kind of plant they are. For the most part, I have learned the main names just because whenever I post a photo, people are like, oh, I love your pothos. Pothos. I don't even know how to pronounce it. Or I love your monstera, or your... I don't actually know the names of anything else. I'll just caption each plant after I film the video. I'll put like a little, this is what this is, now that I've researched it. So now that we've cleared up that I am no expert, and you should probably look elsewhere for real plant care tips, I will show you around my apartment. I will show you, I think I've got like 4 or 5 different kinds of plants. My favorite is definitely pothos, or pothos. I'm pretty sure it's pothos. I want to say pothos. Okay. My favorite ones are the viney ones because they really just don't die. You could be so mean to them and they will always just come back with a little water. I have not watered any of my plants in about a week, I want to say, which in the summer is usually my norm, but in the winter, what happens is, first off, it's freezing outside, right? So anything by the windows tends to be a little chilly. And then the other problem is that I'm in a really old building, so it's all radiator heat, which means I have no control. I either turn the I either turn the radiator off or it's on. And so my apartment goes between being freezing cold or being really, really, really flippin' hot and dry. In the winter, I have to water my plants probably twice a week, and then there's some that are in terracotta pots that kind of wick the water away and like take it out from the dirt. So those have to get watered, or they should be watered like every couple days, and trust me, that doesn't happen around here. The other things I do want to say is I get really good light in my apartment. I get bright light all day, basically, from 7 in the morning until 4 o'clock when the sun sets here right now because it's winter, but all day it's just this really bright light. So even my plants that are in the darkest of corners get light, and they've all been totally fine. I haven't had a single plant that hasn't done well just because it's not out and next to the windows. So here we go. The way that I normally go about watering all my plants and making sure I don't miss any is that I will go room to room. So I'll start in the kitchen usually, and then go to my living room, and then my bathroom, and then my bedroom. So basically I grab my watering can, and then I go around and I grab plants. When their dirt is still moist, I usually either don't give them water or I just give them a tiny bit to tide them over till the next watering. So these ones kind of back in the corners tend to need less watering. I think it's because they're not in as hot of a place. My radiator is in the living room, so I think it stays cooler in the kitchen. I got these guys up on the wall. I have a stool for these guys so that I can see if they're wet or dry. This guy is actually just a jar full of cuttings, which all grew roots. So the cool thing about pothos is that you can propagate it pretty easily. If you were gonna propagate pothos, what you would do is you would take the end of a vine and you would cut off a piece underneath a node. A node is this little spot where there's like a hard little bump, which is usually where a leaf grows. So this guy is just a bunch of cuttings in water, and so I'll just top him off with a little bit of water since he's getting low. And I personally don't actually ever switch out the water. I just top it off. I mean, I guess if it got really, really gross and dirty looking, I would, but they seem to do fine. Some big viney pothos up on top of my fridge, and that was the one that was in my van, actually, and that one's probably got the longest tendrils. You can see that a lot of the tendrils go up. I just have hooks up on my walls. And I'll get up on my chair. I have no idea what this one's called. I will look it up. Okay, so saturated. This guy has a couple yellow leaves, so I'll just pick those off. I'm pretty sure I repotted this guy, and so I had his limbs tied up like this so that he could adjust to the dirt and grow roots so that he'd stay firm. So I think if I cut it now, he probably would stay upright, but I don't know. I just don't need to do that, so I'm not going to. Honestly, I think filling my water container actually takes the most time when I'm watering my plants. And that's all of my plants in the kitchen, so I am going to start doing my living room now. These guys are near the window, and I actually just moved these guys. So these ones tend to be more resilient. Like I said, the pothos, they're not really fussy. I spill on my floor a lot when I'm watering my plants. Again, these are just propagated. So these are cuttings from my monstera plant. And I just cut these ones like a week ago maybe. So they're just starting to get accustomed to the water. And I don't know if you can see, but right there, that little guy is a new root that's starting to grow. And these guys, I cut off my monstera because they were looking really sad. And they've actually started perking up. They were like really droopy, maybe like this. And they've actually started becoming more lively. So hopefully they just continue to get better as they grow roots. And that guy up there is in a terracotta pot, so he tends to need more water. If you can see, well, right now he's okay, I think, because I watered him a few days ago. I'm gonna water him now, but his leaves are kind of droopy. I don't know if you can see that, but they're just not as like flexed as they normally are. The reason I have them in these terracotta pots, they were in these black plastic containers that I bought them in, and all of those had holes in the bottom, which is fine. I just had to, every time I watered, I would have to take all the hanging plants down and bring them to my shower and water them all so that they could drain. And now that they're in these terracotta pots, they have these bases that go up underneath them. And I just made these macrame things in like, they take like 5 minutes to make. Super easy, and then they just hang where they were hanging before. And that way I don't have to take them down, which is really nice. So this is another cutting. And this guy has been in water for quite a while. So as you can see, he's got a lot of root formation. And I probably could pot him if I wanted to, but he's doing just fine in the water, and I kind of like being able to see all the roots. So I'm just leaving him in the water. All right, and the next plant is my monstera. This guy that I was sitting next to earlier. And he is recuperating. I repotted him. I tried everything I could. I got back from traveling and he had just been super droopy and sad. He used to be over by the windows, so I've moved him over here, and he actually in the last few days has started to seem like he's doing a lot better. He takes a lot of water too, and he never complains about it. And I think that's it for this room. On to the bathroom. This plant, I'm not sure what he's called, but he likes to be right on you when you go to the bathroom. He gets very dry, and I think it's because I have a radiator like right there, so it keeps the toilet warm, but it also keeps my plants very dry. He's also in a terracotta pot, so I think that's a lot of why the moisture gets pulled away. A lot of yellow leaves. And then I got another one of these guys. Hi, hold on. This guy is actually growing some new little guys. I don't know if you can see them, but it's right up here. Very light and green. I mean, they're all green, obviously, but they're a lighter green. And I've got the plants that are in my shower. These guys, I just take this guy, turn it on, and then I stand up on the edge of the tub, which can be kind of dangerous, and spray them down. And those guys I tend to let get super saturated until they start dripping down, just because they have holes in the bottom, so they're gonna let go of all the excess moisture. These guys are probably actually my favorite to take care of, just because I do get to just spray them and they take care of themselves. And I think they love the humidity of my shower. You know, when I shower, their leaves get all of the moisture that they could want. And my bedroom. We will start with these palms. I'm not gonna lie here. I hate palms. I really, I think they may have been the first plant I ever bought from IKEA. Not these ones. These ones are different. But palms in Minnesota just don't work. It's cold, it's dry, it's like everything that a palm could ever not want. So I just wouldn't buy them. These guys, I don't know if you can see, but like all of these are just like bits that I just cut off because they all just die. So this one is just, as long as it stays alive, I'll keep it. But once it starts being a drama queen, it's out the door. But it's been okay for now. So they're in this bucket, so they drain out really well because they're not entirely on the ground of it. They're like a little bit off the bottom. So there's room for drainage. Oh, I guess I can just get rid of that. I will just toss these in the trash. Don't be afraid to take dead things off. Things die, it's part of life. So this guy is another giant. He usually wants a lot of water. Gotta grab my stool. This guy is very yellow and has very few leaves. So, you know, I don't know if he's gonna make it, but he's still growing. He's still growing, little guys. So like, even though this guy's yellow, these are 2 new leaves. So, I don't know, I just pull off the yellow guy and then let him keep doing his thing, I guess. Okay. So I guess I haven't actually shown you what dry looks like. So, I don't know if you can see in there, but that is some very dry dirt. It's kind of a lighter tan, and then, do you like that? Me and my selfie stick in my iPhone. Anyway, so that's super dry dirt, and then you basically just want that saturated. So, I usually just give it a good pour, and then, it's good for a week. So, this guy has very dry dirt, and basically this is how much water I pour in. And that's about how much I usually give them, and they've been fine that way. I don't know. And this guy has a really long trail for such a little guy. So that is all of my plants, and that is how many I have, and that is how I take care of them, and I got no other tricks for you. I don't personally do this, or not generally, but I know some people like to take squirt bottles and kind of mist the leaves of all these plants, and that can be good for their leaves. I guess the only other thing I sometimes do is on the Birds of Paradise plant, which is these guys right here. These guys, I sometimes will take a washcloth, like a damp rag or something, and I will wipe their leaves off because they tend to collect dust. But that's, you know, once in a blue moon. Yeah, all in all, my plants have been super easy to take care of, and kind of any of the ones that aren't gonna make it don't. And it's like Darwinism, it's just natural selection. All the ones you see living here have kind of just learned how to adapt, or, you know, almost die and be revived. All right, cool. Well, that is all I have to tell you. Stay tuned for my next video that I have no idea what I'll be filming. Ideas are appreciated. Send me comments or questions, or yeah, cool. Watch that video, and then watch this video, and then that video, because they're all good.